Hi again, guys. I'm Faith, and I'm here again to talk to you about caregiving. You may have seen my first video, which was entitled Caregiving 5 Things I Wish I Knew Before My Parents Became Elderly. Now, the reality is, I've been doing this for 3 years or so, taking care of my mother. And I can tell you that it is easily the most difficult job I have ever had to undertake my entire life. And perhaps because emotionally, I am there. Emotionally, I'm extremely involved, and it can be very draining. And when you speak to anybody who is in my position where they're taking care of an elderly parent, you may be taking care of an elderly parent. So you know exactly what I'm talking about. It can be very taxing, it can be very exhausting mentally, physically. Uh, Physiologically, it can be very exhausting. So it's very important to take extremely good care of yourself. So today in this video, I thought I would give you 5 tips which I have employed and I encourage you to employ to take care of yourself so that you become a better you, so that you can take even better care of them. So let's go. The first one is this: take frequent vacations. Now, I'm sure you just heard that and thought to yourself, what? Has she any idea how much a vacation costs? I'm taking care of my mother, my father who is elderly, so that is dipping into my finances. And now she's actually saying take a vacation, and frequently. How much is that going to cost? Who is going to take care of my elderly parent when I'm gone having fun, globe-trotting around the world? Well, I must say that if the opportunity arises and you can, in fact, travel overseas, you can go to an exotic location, destination, you can go on a cruise, or you can come to, say, a place like Jamaica, hint, hint, for a great all-inclusive vacation, then definitely do that. But that is not necessarily the type of vacation that I'm talking about. I am talking about what I like to refer to as mini mental vacays. This is where you take a break from taking care of your elderly mother, elderly father, or both, and taking some minutes or a few hours to yourself, engaging in some activity that you like. So that may involve going for a short walk, or going for a quick run, or if you have space outside and you have a yard, it may mean taking one of your favorite books and mentally escaping, or taking some time to escape into a movie. Or some of us, like I like to spend time just Googling stuff, just random things, Googling things. And that gives me an opportunity to mentally vacation, vacating from my everyday realities. And that is good because it really gives you an opportunity to become restored, rejuvenated, and refreshed. So see, doesn't cost anything, and it gives you a chance to be a better person for you and for your parents. The second one is this: acceptance. Now, acceptance, this is a big one. I know it's very hard to accept that your parent is changing, and changing every day. And for some of us, quite frankly, those changes can be drastic, and it can be very traumatic and hurtful and painful in so many ways. I, for example, would give anything for my mother to be exactly the way she was when I was a teenager, or, you know, during my early adulthood. I certainly would, but no matter what I do, I will never be able to get her back to the place where she once was. It is very hard. I know I'm talking from personal experience, so I know. But I honestly believe that the moment that we get to a place where we accept that this is the new version of our parents, it becomes a little bit easier because we understand that this is now the new normal, and it will become a bit easier moving forward. 3, get help. Now, in a previous video, I had mentioned that I do have a type A personality. And for all you guys with a type A personality just like me, you know how it goes. We need to be in control of what is around us. We like things done a particular way, and if they're not done or the way that we want, we will do them all over again because that's just how our minds work, right? When it comes down to caregiving, it's time to shed that just a bit. Why? Because people who you hire, for example, are not necessarily going to do things exactly the way that you do. And life becomes a little bit easier when you can let go. I can't begin to tell you how many caregivers I got for my mother who I let go, quite frankly. Why? Because they just did not do things the way I wanted them to do things. But the result, it meant that I had to do those things all over again, and I had to do those things alone. It took me, believe it or not, over 2 years for me to finally understand that this was a job that I just couldn't do alone. I couldn't have a full-time job. I couldn't take care of our 2 dogs, plus my mother, plus life on a whole without help. So I made the decision I needed help and decided that I had to compromise in getting that help. This allowed me to free up some time so that I could have some actual time again for me. Now, 4, be grateful. Now, let's face it, taking care of your elderly parent will have its challenges. And depending on where your parent is emotionally, they may not necessarily be in a position to always express their gratitude or their appreciation to you, which can make it a bit lonely for you. And it sometimes it makes you feel as if you're not being appreciated and your efforts are not being rewarded with the praise that you probably would want. But I encourage you, be grateful. Because as much as aging is hard, and as much as watching your parent age is difficult, consider the alternative. And the alternative is something you want to delay for as long as you possibly can. So I encourage you, even as I encouraged myself, to be grateful. Every time you walk by your mother and or your father, and you can observe the rise and the fall of their chest, it means that their heart is still beating. Be grateful for that. Every single time you hear them call your name, even if you're in the middle of something and it may be interrupting it, be grateful. Because one day they will not be able to say your name. Be grateful every time they recall that same old corny story which you have heard a million times. Be grateful. Laugh if you have to. Be as expressive as you need to. Pretend as if you have never heard the story before. Because what's important is, at that point, it's about them and what you can do to make them feel better and enrich their lives by engaging, humoring their emotions. Be grateful. And the fifth point is simply this: make each moment count. You see, we live in a world which is so fast paced and we're constantly burdened with responsibilities. It is so very, very easy to see taking care of your elderly mother or father as just another thing to do on your things to do list. Believe me, it isn't. And if you don't realize it today, the day will come when you'll realize just how special it is to be taking care of your elderly parent. You see, believe it or not, you may have friends, colleagues, neighbors who would give anything in the world to be in the position that you are in right now. That very thing which you are complaining about doing for your elderly mom or dad is the very same thing that your friend, your colleagues, your neighbors would give anything in the world to be taking care of their parent today, but they will never have the privilege that you do now. So, stay emotionally present. Spend time with them. Disconnect from social media. Have a meal. Talk with them. Laugh with them. Appreciate every single moment. Make every single moment count. Take videos of them. Take pictures with them. Record their voices so that you will always have that. Make every single moment count. Celebrate with them their life whilst you still can. I hope you enjoyed and you learned something from my video today. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And see you soon for my next video. Take care. Bye-bye now.